Hi, Analisa Six here with the Lady of Leisure and the Sober Curator to bring you the July horoscope for the zodiac sign of Sagittarius for sun and rising placements. We are in Cancer season, full blown. We also have Mercury and Venus in Cancer starting the month out. And the area that this is hitting for the Sagittarius horoscope is the area that the eighth house rules. And so this is the house that is representative of marriage, sex, death, rebirth, shared resources, assets, taxes, loans, the occult, all of those themes. It's a pretty big house. The Sun, Venus, and Mercury here is actually really positive for this area of the chart. So if you're dealing with any marital kind of stuff, if you're dealing with, banks, loans, investments, taxes, shared assets and resources, that's all very supported energy. Having Venus and Mercury here, things are working in your favor. It's a good energy. It's positive. Mercury is not going to be here for a very long time. It's actually moving into Leo on the 2nd, where it's going to be entering the area of the Sagittarius horoscope that has to do with values and belief systems, long distance travel, higher education and learning, as well as publishing. And so Mercury here enhances all of that energy. It's a really good time for looking into kind of more creative realms. And if you are somebody that publishes things or releases things, Mercury transiting through this is kind of, emphasizing that. If you're looking to do any traveling, especially long distance traveling, that is very mercurial passing through this house and supported. If you're also kind of on a quest for deeper meaning in your life, Mercury here is enhancing that. And it's enhancing it in Leo in a way that's very playful. It's kind of like forget all your worries, forget all your troubles, like just go have some fun, lean into, joy, lean into not taking things so seriously, which is very Leo. Venus is going to be here for a couple more weeks. So Venus is blessing the eighth house, which is really great for marriages, relationship energy, shared finances, figuring out things around that. The sun here also enhances that energy for you as well. We also have Mars in Taurus starting out the month, and that has been in that area of the chart since the end of June. And Mars is going to be in Taurus for the first 3 weeks of the month. The area that that's hitting for the Sag rising horoscope is the area that has to do with health, how you're of service in the work that you do, and also the way that you organize your routine and your daily structure. Mars here is interesting because when it comes to daily routine and organization and structures, this is actually a really good energy for kind of getting that figured out and kind of trying to put it into application. But when it comes to health, Mars here is usually, affecting things in a more turbulent way. It can be more of a conflict transit when it comes to health, unless I guess we're really taking initiative. So I guess it's dependent kind of on what else it's hitting in your chart and whether or not you're applying yourself. Because if you're somebody that's really healthy and really health conscious, Mars here might be kind of helping you out in that. But if you're not somebody that's doing that, then some of the maybe consequences of previous actions are catching up with you now. Another kind of area is how you're of service in the work that you're doing. And sometimes there can be a little bit of challenge and maybe feeling like you know how to apply yourself, but you're trying, you're pushing forward in that way. Mars is interesting because Mars is really great for directing the will and pushing things forward. But because it's Mars-like energy, which is very assertive and aggressive and fast, it can sometimes, cause problems, or there can be kind of more accident, more prone to accidents in the 6th house, things like that. But in Taurus, Taurus slows everything down. So it's kind of an interesting combination of things. I like Mars in the Earth signs because it does, kind of lead more towards practical application, which I think is helpful. But there's also kind of this hard energy to it that's kind of discombobulating. Mars is technically in its detriment here. Okay, so let's talk about what else we have going on at the beginning of the month. So Neptune is going to station retrograde on the 2nd at 29 degrees of Pisces. And this is a big deal because we've had Neptune passing through Pisces since 2011. And so there's been a 15-year kind of story unfolding since 2011. And now that Neptune is stationing retrograde at the last degree of Pisces, where this is the last retrograde in Pisces too, that it's going to be doing over this 15-year period. This is our kind of wrap up to a cycle that we've been in, or kind of a story that we've been in. So this retrograde is a pretty big deal because we're going to be reflecting and reviewing kind of what came about, what was unfolding for us during this time. And we're wrapping all of that up now. And then in March of 2025, when Neptune enters Aries, we're starting a whole new kind of cycle. And so the area of the chart that Neptune has been for the Sag rising horoscope is the area that rules home and family. So over the last 15 years, you've been working through something regarding your home life and your connection to family. And it's been a lot. It's there, you know, Neptune is a subconscious planet. It works under the surface. It's shadow work. It's spiritual work. It's dealing with illusions and dreams and kind of these things that are intangible. And there's a lot of karmic stuff that comes up when it's a fourth house transit, ancestral karmic stuff. You're wrapping that story up over this retrograde. It's a really positive time to do deep work around healing any unresolved stuff from your family life or your past. When Neptune enters Aries in March of 2025, there is definitely a rebirth happening for Sagittarius dominant people, because Sag is a fire sign, Aries is a fire sign, and that fire is going to be hitting fire, and it's happening in the fifth house, meeting the first house. And those houses, you know, the first house is the identity, and the fifth house is that house that represents our creative energy. And so it's interesting having Neptune transiting the fourth house, because it's like kind of this more introverted internal thing. The fifth house is still internal, but it's more about self-expression, sharing, creativity, like all the creative channels get just opened up in a really major way. And this is happening for years. You're starting this new cycle. So if you're an artist, a musician, if you do creative things, you're kind of having the stage set right now for that next layer of creative energy that you're about to move into. And also just identity expression, you know, how you express yourself, how you put yourself out there is about to go through a major kind of push. So it's interesting. It's an interesting thing to see. And, you know, Neptune is called the dissolver, the great dissolver. And so, you know, something's dissolving so that a new thing can take form. And when Neptune moves into that Aries energy, it's dissolving another area so that a new stage can be set. We already have so much of that going on with Pluto and Aquarius. We're on a, you know, a new, the last few years have been all about things coming to a close. Pretty much since we had that Saturn Pluto conjunction and we got out of Capricorn energy and into Aquarius energy. And now it's just everything is kind of coming to this, like the last frontier and the new frontier. And Neptune is doing this, and Uranus is going to join the newness party later on. So it's a lot. We have a lot going on. Everything's about to change. So that's the beginning of July, and kind of just talking about it in terms of what's starting now, what's happening. The next transit that we have at the beginning of July is Mercury entering Leo on the 2nd, that same day that Neptune stations retrograde. I talked about that already. And then July 5th, we're going to have a new moon at 14 degrees of Cancer. And the area that this is hitting for the Sagittarius horoscope is that 8th house. It has to do with sex, death, rebirth, marriage, shared assets, taxes, loans, the occult, inheritance, all that stuff. So new moons are about setting intentions towards things that you want to call in and manifest. So anything along those themes that you've been wanting to call in and set intentions towards, July 5th is a great time to do some ritual regarding that. After that, let's see, what else do we have going on here? We've got on the 11th, Venus is going to enter Leo and join the 9th house with Mercury. Now, Venus in this area is interesting because Venus rules relationships, and there's a few different, and also it rules aesthetics, like our connection to beauty, that kind of thing. I have Venus in the 9th house natally, but it's in Libra. And one of the things that I've found with Venus in the 9th house as somebody that has it is there's a wanderlust kind of energy where what feels romantic and kind of fulfilling, and it's very Sagittarius, right? Sagittarius rules the 9th house, is getting out of the mundane, going on an adventure. Like for me, some of my favorite dates and kind of ways to connect with myself romantically or somebody else romantically is to get out of town. I really like to go on a road trip or experience something different, go to a museum. I love going to old films at theaters. I love going to art museums. I love doing spontaneous things. Like if you're walking by something, you're like, ooh, let's check that out. It's very ninth house. So spontaneity, that kind of stuff is a very Venusian ninth house kind of thing. So you might be in the mood to kind of explore, travel, get out of the mundane, which is already super Sagittarius. You're already wired to be that way, but it's just, it's enhanced with Mercury and Venus being here in July. So it's good if you do those things and kind of get out of your, you know, mundane routine. For sure. It's supported. On the 21st, and also talking about that, let's backtrack. So the last time Venus was in Leo was in June through September of last year, 2023. And then we had Venus retrograde in Leo, July through September. So it's really important for you to kind of think back to what was happening last summer, where you were at, what you were doing, what you were reflecting and reviewing in relationships, where you were at in life, spiritually, all of that stuff, and then see where you're at now. Because Venus in Leo is passing back over some of that stuff and bringing it into your awareness. And this is a time where you might be kind of seeing like, oh, I've worked a lot on the things that were happening last year. And now I'm in this state this year where maybe some of that stuff's come to fruition, or I'm still working on a continued story of it. So that's something to think about. Now, okay, July 21st, Mars is going to leave Taurus and enter Gemini. And the area of the chart that this is hitting for you is the area that has to do with relationships, partnerships specifically. This can be business partnerships. This can be dating, romantic, best friends. But Mars in Gemini is very conflict oriented. So there's turmoil, there's tension, there's, you know, some hard things happening in terms of your lessons with other people, especially people that you're really close with. Jupiter's already here. That it's kind of pushing you to expand and grow and kind of evolve beyond where you've been when it comes to how you're relating to relationship dynamics. But Mars here is going to kick up some dust and maybe bring some conflict into the mix. It's important to remember that, you know, the conflict that we experience is there to teach us something about ourselves. You know, if there's something that we've been avoiding with a person, like maybe we know we need to have a conversation that's hard, or we need to confront something, or maybe there's a relationship dynamic that isn't working for us anymore, and we need to experience some kind of resolution, or, you know, we need to confront it. Mars is here to kind of push us into that. Mars is going to be in this area of the horoscope until September. So there's definitely some turbulence there. And then it's going to enter the 8th house and be in the 8th house until, oh God, it looks like till November. Yeah, so there's definitely some turbulence when it comes to relationship energy for Sagittarius, pretty much throughout all of fall. So summer and fall is going to be pretty rocky when it comes to partnership. And the best you can do is to just like try to learn from it, you know, try to slow down, try to figure out where you can communicate more effectively. Mars here is always kind of interesting because it almost is like we're trying to advocate for ourselves in some dynamic. And sometimes the people that we're trying to advocate for ourselves with won't listen to us. And so it becomes kind of this like make or break energy in a lot of relationship dynamics. And it can be really hard, really challenging and frustrating. A lot of relationships, friendships, partnerships come to an end when Mars is transiting these areas, because it's just, if people can't find resolution, it can be really challenging. But it doesn't always, you know, sometimes it's just if you're mature and you're in partnership dynamics where you can work through things, then, you know, you'll work through it and get to the other side for sure. Okay. That same day on the 21st, we have a full moon in Capricorn, and that full moon is at 29 degrees of Capricorn. On June 21st, we had a full moon at 1 degree of Capricorn. And so there's kind of this story arc where the full moon on June 21st at 1 degree was great for setting intentions towards something that we want to manifest in the area that Capricorn is hitting in the chart. And now we're in a place where this is like kind of a wrap up, like we're ready to kind of release or let something go. The area of the chart that Capricorn hits for this full moon is the area that is the second house that rules our connection to money and material resources. And the sun, you know, full moon is opposite the moon. The sun is still in that 8th house area. So shared assets, resources versus our own money is a theme. So whatever you were hoping to kind of manifest around money, you have this kind of next version of it. So that whole kind of area is, you know, highlighted. So it's really, sorry, I'm getting distracted by it. And I don't understand how to do this. I put do not disturb um, on my notifications, and yeah, I still get notifications. And so I haven't quite figured out, I guess I have to turn notifications off and do not disturb doesn't work. I don't know, but I'll get the little things and then I will get distracted and I'm trying not to look at it. I'm like, I don't know how to turn this off. I don't know technology. But yeah, anyways, so the second house theme in terms of your relationship to financial security and stability, there's something that if you want to release and let go of some kind of tie to something, this is a time to cut that cord and release and let it go. Any blockages around money or financial needs, this is a great time to do rituals around clearing out that energy that might be blocking you. On the 22nd, we officially enter Leo season. So the sun is going to be entering that 9th house, and it's going to be highlighting the themes that Venus and Mercury have been there, you know, long distance travel, your relationship to values and belief systems, higher education and learning, self-exploration, exploration of the world and other cultures, publishing, releasing things. This is also a house that the law rules. I didn't really talk about that, but this is like a house where like legal matters take place. And having Venus here with the sun here is actually really positive in terms of things working in your favor. So if you are kind of dealing with something like that, that's positive. And the next couple days, Mercury is going to enter Virgo on the 26th, where it's going to be entering its shadow period for the retrograde cycle that starts in August as well. And this area of the chart is the area that rules your career. So you're going to have Mercury here. And this is a great time for reassessing and reflecting on what's working or what's not working in your work life. So if money's been hard, if work has been hard, if things have been kind of feeling like there's been some stagnant stuff or miscommunication, this is a really good time for you to start working through new marketing strategies. Maybe there's different ways that you can present information, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be kind of your theme for the end of the month going into August. All right, Sagittarius, I'm going to leave you there, and I wish you the best of luck for July. It looks like it's a pretty decent month, regardless of some of the challenges. If you want to book a one-on-one session with me to kind of get more of a read on what's happening for you specifically, my books are open. The email is going to be in the description box. And if you like this video, please hit the like, subscribe button so that you'll get notifications on when I do these in the future. All right, I'll see you guys in August.